vaccinated percentage of the population rises, you might be wondering, is now finally the right time to take a flyaway vacation or maybe enjoy a meal that you didn't make at home? Joining us live right now to talk more about it, what freedoms could be coming our way, is our good friend, Dr. Oz. Good to see you. How are you?
Doing very well. Generally speaking, I think the virus is doing well with the exception of the UK variant, but overall optimistic.
So let's talk about some of these things. In Florida, I feel like sometimes we're our own country down here, right? Because we've been sort of a little freer than other places in the country for a long time now. But if you have been concerned about indoor dining and you haven't been going and you're vaccinated now, is it okay to go?
It is, and it's also okay to travel. You still need to be thoughtful. Certainly getting in and out when you're in a mixed area, waiting to get your table, keeping a mask on is a wise move. I personally would do it if I'm indoors. If you can stay outdoors, which in Florida is pretty straightforward to do in a lot of places, definitely do that. But I think the CDC has also realized that by being overly cautious, you're giving people less of an incentive to get vaccinated. We're underselling the vaccine. If you've been vaccinated in clinical trials, the chance of you dying from the current strains of COVID-19 were zero. Literally, no one died. And so that's not a guarantee that's going to be true when you give it to a couple 100 million people. But optimistic people should appropriately say, wait a minute. I mean, what are my real risks of going to a restaurant or going traveling? And it tends to be diminutive. Part of the reason we're cautious still is you don't want people who've been vaccinated going, nah. You know, I got my shot. I can go out and have a party, and you can't. And I think that's one of the reasons we're being cautious and thoughtful and respectful and saying, okay, until everyone gets vaccinated, let's just, keep our head down. We still have increasing total numbers of cases in 30 states. That's a lot. But total deaths are down, I think partly because older people have been vaccinated. So the at-risk population has shrunk quite a bit. And 50% of the U.S. population now has at least one shot in their arm.
Doc, I want to talk about some of these breakthrough cases, because as you know, that also is something that people hear and they think, well, why should I bother to get vaccinated if these breakthrough cases are happening? But I think it's important that people understand how a vaccine works. It's not foolproof.
It's a very, very important point that it's not black and white. It's actually more gray. So the current vaccine is incredibly effective, gives us much more protection against the viruses that were originally in this country than we need, which is good because that way you don't have any problems. However, some of these other variants, like the South African variant just studied in an Israeli study, still unpublished, would make the argument that it's not quite as good there because maybe we don't have as much extra protection. Maybe it's just barely protective enough. And over time, we will have variants of the COVID-19 virus that are more resistant to the current vaccinations. We'll have to have booster shots for those. But in the meantime, having some protection, a foundation of protection, is a heck of a lot better than no protection. And again, the goal is not eradication of all illness, it's eradication of bad illness. Right? You don't care about COVID-19 unless it comes to kill you or maim you. Those are the issues we're trying to protect against.
Dr. Oz, it's always a pleasure. We enjoy your expertise. Hope you had a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon.
You stay well. Take care.
You too. Thank you. And remember, you can catch Dr. Oz's show every day, 2 o'clock, right here on Fox 35. We're coming up on Good Day or Lie.